Who has been the best player in the Premier League this year? Is it the top goal scorer in the league, Mo Salah? Is it last year's PFA Player of the Year winner, Kevin De Bruyne? Maybe one of Man City's outstanding defenders in Ruben Dias or John Stones? I respect all these players and they have been amazing this year. But really, there's two options. There's Jack Grealish, Aston Villa's talisman, their golden boy, the sweetheart of England. And there's Bruno Fernandes, the man who came into Manchester United and changed everything. I want to give an honorable mention to Harry Kane, who is the current leader in assists and goal contributions. But for reasons I'll explain later in the video, I don't think he is in this conversation. Also, the fact that Spurs are just not that good. They were at the start of the season, but they're not anymore. So without further ado, here is the case for Bruno. I am far from the first person to point out that United has had a 180-degree turnaround since Bruno came in. They have taken more points than anyone in the Premier League since his arrival, and are currently only 1 point behind Leicester with a game in hand. They are in a three-way title race with Liverpool and City, the first real title race they've been in since Alex Ferguson retired. United's opponent counterattack that has propelled them all the way to being Europe's 12th best attacking team comes almost entirely from Bruno's genius. When United look to counter a team, it is Bruno's long balls that find the runs of the quick forwards in Martial, Rashford, and Greenwood. That is probably why he ranks as the best progressive passer in the league. If you look at this graph, you can see that he ranks top 3 in progressive passes per 90, that is, passes that advance the ball 10 or more yards, as well as being top tier in passes into the final third. Way ahead of Grealish. And, I mean, again, I gave Kane an honorable mention, but Fernandes is so far ahead of him in this, it's not even funny. This ability to spring the counterattack is absolutely key to the way United play, and the biggest reason why he plays every minute of every game. He's playing like 180 minutes a week right now. It's ridiculous. No one else really does that on the team, especially not while offering what Bruno does in the final third. This is not to take away from Van de Beek and Pogba's very recent turnaround, but they just don't do it. They don't do what Fernandes does. I think Van de Beek could do it. He needs a betting in period, and he's gonna have to do it because Bruno can't play 180 minutes a week consistently till he retires. But they're not doing it right now. The other thing is that Bruno is just by far the best midfielder in the Premier League when it comes to being in the final third, like point blank period. Honestly, like, only a prime Kevin De Bruyne comes even close. And this year, it's not been a prime KDB, especially not in front of goal, where he has 3 goals from an XG of almost 8. Bruno has the most goal contributions of any midfielder in Europe this season, contributing over 1.1 goals per 90 minutes. He is both an elite creator, being one of only 5 players with at least 500 minutes played to create over 0.4 expected assists, as well as over 3 key passes, the others being Grealish, De Bruyne, Muller, and Ilicic. And none of the other 5 come close to Bruno's 11 goals in the league, with the closest being Thomas Muller at 6. His mix of elite creativity and elite goal scoring is not only amazing, but it's impossibly rare. No one in Europe can match it this year. I can hear every Spurs and Kane fan crying. I can hear them yell, "Oh, he has more assists than Bruno. Oh, he leads the league in assists." He got lucky. He got unbelievably lucky. For a 2-1 stretch from late September to late November, everything Spurs shot was going in. No one benefited more than Kane. Kane has 11 assists from an expected assist of 3. He is overperforming it by so much that no one else in the continent even comes close, let alone the Premier League. It is luck. He is nowhere near as good a creator as the great creators in the Prem, let alone one of the great creators in Bruno, like Bruno, or Grealish, or Muller, or Ilicic. He has less goals, he has less expected goals, he doesn't do what Bruno does in transition, he does not have the tackle and interception numbers that Bruno does. He's not in this conversation. So that's why Kane's not in the picture. Why is Bruno better than Grealish? Well, his end product's the big reason. Grealish has contributed to 13 goals to Bruno's 18, with expected goals having them at 9 and 13 respectively. There's also the little thing of defensive work. Bruno may not show it, may not be his reputation or why he's so good, but he does a lot of defensive work. This year, Bruno has pressed opponents almost 20 times the game, 10th overall in the league. Grealish is down at 13. This is an elite level of pressing, and from watching him play, you can see that this is mostly very high up the pitch. He also completed over 2.5 tackles and interceptions a game, and Grealish only 1.5. Bruno's overall case for being top dog in the Prem is very, very solid. He has probably displayed the best sheer ability in the Premier League I've seen since either Hazard or De Bruyne last year, where he got 20 assists. He is a creative genius who is also an elite goal scorer. That's not exactly common. He is an incredibly vital piece of United's counterattack, which is shown both in the eye test just from watching him play and watching the goals United score and passes Bruno springs, and stats. He's one of the top progressive passers by stats in the league, all while being the talisman and the face of the biggest club in the world, and propelling United to the first serious talent challenge since Sir Alex Ferguson left. Also, he offers some defensive work and adds to everything. Now, let's see what Grealish's argument is. If Bruno's case is based on his sheer ability, then Grealish's case is based on his importance. Before anything else is said, if you have ever seen any Villa game, you know that once the Villains have the ball, the number one objective is to get the ball to the feet of their captain. Grealish is pretty much always the best player on the pitch. Aside from thumping the side got against Leeds, he has consistently been creating and dribbling Villa into games. This year, he has been undeniably the talisman in the Premier League. United's counterattack doesn't function without Bruno, but Villa doesn't function, period, without Grealish. Stats back this up too. He has the most touches in the side in the middle and final thirds of the pitch. No one carries the ball more than him, and no one even comes close to carrying the ball forward as much as him. Grealish is the beating heart, lungs, brain, and every other vital organ of the team. A Villa team, I would like to remind everyone, that is currently 7th in terms of points per game, and could go as far up as 4th if they win their 4 games in hand. Creatively, no one has been better than Villa's golden boy this year in the Prem. He leads in both expected assists with 6.4 and key passes per 90 with over 3. He has simply been the best creator in the Premier League, and probably Europe for that matter, while playing for Aston Villa, a team that did not get relegated last year by the skin of their teeth. However, even with him being the best creator in the Premier League, there is one thing that separates him far and beyond what Bruno can do with the ball at his feet. It's his dribbling. While Bruno is always springing a pass or a shot when he has the ball, Grealish creates just as much as a Portuguese man while being able to carry the ball at his feet better than anyone. As you can see from looking at this chart, he is simply above and beyond everyone else when it comes to taking the ball forward. This chart measures the amount of times the player has carried the ball at his feet into the final third of the pitch, as well as the amount of times he has progressed the ball 5 or more yards. Grealish is far and away clear. This is both an ability he possesses that Bruno simply doesn't. You can see him lagging behind with the rest of the pack, as well as a show of his importance to this fellow team. Whether it be through his passing or his dribbling, both of which he does more than anyone on the squad, they get the ball into dangerous territory almost entirely because of the number 10, particularly since Ross Barkley has been out injured. With 13 goal contributions without penalties, he's no slouch in terms of end product either. In terms of non-penalty goal contributions, Grealish is 4th in the division, behind the lucky stretches of Kane and Son, and only 1 behind De Bruyne. Grealish is not the key cog in a machine like Bruno is. Grealish is the machine. Grealish is what makes Villa tick. When Villa has the ball, one man does everything. He gets the ball up the field. He creates the chances. He scores the chances. What's Grealish's case for being the best in the Prem? He does everything for a really good team at an elite level. So, who's my pick? Good. I gotta go with Grealish. I mean, Aston Villa have been crazy good for what I expected from them this season. I expected nothing from them. Last year I was saying that Buendia was a better player than Grealish. I take that back now. Grealish is a lot better than Buendia. And Bruno has been slowing down recently, and Grealish has been incredibly consistent. And again, Grealish is the machine. Grealish is what makes the club tick. Grealish is the talisman to define all talismans, and it's why A, I think he's the best player in the Premier League, and B, I don't think he's going to leave the club. I think Aston Villa are going to qualify for the Europa League at the very least this year, and I think Grealish is the best player in the Prem. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.